This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to a bonus episode of Rock and Roll English. Yes, that's right. I know I said that I wasn't going to do any podcasts until the new year, but yesterday I spoke to my good friend Boom Boom Cannon and we had a bit of a chat like usual about other things. Then when we moved to a football chat, we said, let's record this and do it for the podcast, for you people. As usual, if you're not a football fan, it's probably not going to be the most interesting podcast to listen to. But if you are a football fan, this is for you, baby. Okay, here is the conversation. Happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
I'm good, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic, Boom Boom. Especially now we are doing one of our classic football chats, which I'm sure everyone has been waiting for so long. Probably there are only five people that listen to the podcast, but we were going to have the chat anyway, weren't we, Boom Boom?
We were going to have it anyway. Let's record it, and if it makes five people happy, then that's good.
We can go to bed happy people. So the big question for you, Boom Boom, Arsenal fan, Mikel Arteta. I'm sure my Spanish pronunciation isn't correct. What do you think?
I'm
New
happy.
Manager of Arsenal, just in case people don't know.
Yep, he's the new manager of Arsenal, appointed yesterday, and I'm delighted. He's,
why?
Well, you know, with the last manager, particularly with him following Wenger, there was just this kind of I don't know. He was quite a hard guy to really have that same kind of feeling for that you had for anywhere near someone like Wenger. And they just lost the club and the players. They seem to just be losing a bit of kind of connection with the fans and the players and the club, and a bit of that kind of it's a bit of a cliche, but that sort of passion. And I think bringing in someone who's a former player, I guess to some extent a bit like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United.
Well, I've read something like this, like a former legend. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United is like a total fucking legend. Like Arteta, I mean, at Arsenal, is he? He's no like Dennis Bergkamp.
No,
is
he's not. He's not. No, I wouldn't use the word legend for his playing career at Arsenal. He was captain. I don't think. Did Solskjaer ever captain United?
He definitely did once, a game that I went to see at least once, which was in the FA Cup against Reading. If you're interested, you're probably not. 2007, remember it well. We scored 3 goals in the first 10 minutes.
Should have kept him on as captain.
Exactly.
He's not in that sense. It's not like bringing in. If we were to go with like Vieira was obviously linked with the job, but there's still. Yeah, particularly like in comparison to having had Emery now for this last couple of years. Just that kind of affinity with the player, and he's someone that even though he wasn't, he's not a kind of got legendary status at Arsenal. I think he's someone that a lot of players, a lot of fans did like. As say he was captain, and it's easy to get carried away at this stage because he's not managed us for a single game yet. But I watched his interview.
He's doing a great job.
I watched his interview and I've convinced myself he's basically Pep Guardiola, but better, if anything.
With hair.
Yeah. So no, I'm pleased. I'm happy, but it is a gamble. It's definitely a risk.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of sort of caretaker managers. The Duncan Ferguson thing that I sent you a message about the other day. So I was watching the Everton-Man United game. Man United-Everton, I suppose. So in Manchester, middle of December, freezing cold. You got everyone with like big coats on. And then Duncan Ferguson, who if anyone is not familiar with him, is a very big, intimidating Scottish man. Just wearing a shirt.
And I was kind of half expecting that if they scored that he would just kind of rip it open in celebration.
like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he's got that kind of vibe about him. He's an intimidating guy, isn't he?
Oh my God, yeah. He's just looking at him. The camera would go to him, and I was intimidated. And I was thinking, I'm in Sicily watching a game in Manchester, but I'm still worried that he might be thinking, he might say to me, what the fucking hell are you looking at? Not the best Scottish accent in the world, but...
No.
Yeah.
Not the best accent. More kind of northern. I think you went a bit. You went northern. I don't think you went quite north enough.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He's a tough guy. Didn't he actually went to prison once? Didn't he?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
yeah. It's not just all talk.
Yeah. Exactly. I saw this thing of Jamie Carragher talking. They're saying, should he get the job full time? And he said, well, I wouldn't want to tell him that he's not getting the job because he will fucking rip my head off.
Imagine that. But then if you give him the job, you're never going to sack him. So if you give him the job, you just got to accept that's it now. He's our manager until he decides to quit.
And then in the interview after the game, they actually said to him, like, why don't you wear a jacket? And he just said, I don't feel the cold. It was just like, fucking hell. That's a real man. When I play football, I wear gloves. I wear that little neck warmer thing.
Oh yeah,
all the accessories.
And I don't
warmer.
I don't really. There is this thing of, pundits criticising players for wearing a snood, wearing gloves.
Yeah.
And I just think, look, let them wear what they want. They got to keep. There's nothing wrong with keeping your extremities warm. There's nothing that makes you less of a hard player if you do that. But that's definitely the attitude, isn't it, in English football?
Yeah, of course. And another thing I heard said about him, he said, he knows the club inside out. Like he talks to the tea lady and all of these things. And I always think they always talk about this in football. Like, even the tea lady. Is there really a job of a lady that just makes tea all day? Does that job exist?
You hear that still so often, don't you, in football, like the tea lady. And I just can't imagine that's... I actually think it's quite this... There's probably someone who maybe has some kind of role of supplying some food and drinks, and they just dismissively refer... She's probably like catering manager or something, and they just... To them, it's just, well, she's a tea lady.
I just love the idea of just someone having to make tea all day. Imagine even going for a job interview. So talk me through how you make a cup of tea. Yeah.
It's just, it's absurd, but you hear that so often, the tea lady. And it's always used in that sense, isn't it? He even says hello to the tea lady as if that's somehow like the mark of just a great bloke.
Why would you not say hello to the tea lady anyway? What's wrong with the tea lady?
Yeah, it just means you're not a complete arsehole if you say hello to her.
Yeah, it's just one of those cliches that you hear in football. The other is you talk about someone, he's a really dedicated player, always first in the training ground, last to leave. I think there must be a fucking... No, when you're leaving the training ground, everyone's going, no, I don't want to go. You go. You go. I want to be the last to leave. They're just there all day. You must sleep there.
How early can you get in? Oh, fuck, he's got in before me. It's 5 a.m.
Yeah, people will be getting in at like 3 o'clock in the morning just to be the first one in. Absolutely mental.
That's another classic football cliche.
Yeah. So what else has been going on in the football world? Liverpool, I suppose, are doing quite well. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I'm starting to get worried that they're still unbeaten, obviously, aren't they?
I was thinking that.
The Premier League,
taking that Arsenal record.
Yeah, I always get a bit. I get worried, to be honest, stupidly early. Like sometimes, like 5 games into a season, I'll be thinking
they've won their first game of the season. They're going to go unbeaten.
They're still unbeaten.
Who's copied the Invincibles?
Yeah. So I always get a bit kind of concerned about that. But Liverpool do have that kind of they've that air of the side that they've not even really come particularly close to losing yet. Have they? They've drawn.
We nearly beat them. United when Liverpool scored with about 5 minutes to go.
Oh, okay.
They were losing 1-0.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Then Lallana scored with about 5 minutes to go. But then, to be fair, after that, it was like, oh fuck, they're definitely going to win now.
Can we hold on for a draw? Yeah. So I'm hoping they lose a game because they're looking really good. But I guess you tend to get maybe as the season goes on, particularly if they're in sort of a number of competitions, that they'll lose somewhere. But
it's looking very likely they're going to win the title though, isn't it? I can't see anything going wrong. I mean, what is it? At least 10 points to second.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, considering they've only dropped
Leicester,
2 points.
City. Yeah.
Yeah, they've dropped 2 points all season. Now for them even to lose 10 more, it's like more or less 50% of the season's already done. They've lost 2 points. So now they need to lose 10 minimum, and that's assuming Leicester or City are even more behind, have to win every game, which obviously doesn't look
absolutely.
Look very likely.
I'd be amazed at this stage if they don't win it. And because it's not even just the points. Obviously, that's a massive, great place to be in. But they just look like everything's just kind of going in the right direction, isn't it? In terms of
and it's not even like last year they like bottled it. So bottled it is like a very slang term, by the way, which means like that they didn't have the courage, let's say, and they were too nervous because they won every game.
Yeah,
it's just
they both
City won
kept
every
winning,
game,
didn't they? Yeah, City and Liverpool. Yeah,
it's not like they threw it away.
Yeah, so they know they can keep winning, and now that they've got the points advantage, I can't see them not winning. How do you feel about that as a United fan?
Well, obviously, not being from Manchester, it's not so much the rivalry of like that, but there's just many things I dislike about them. But to be fair, that I like Jurgen Klopp a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is anymore. I just dislike him, and it's just funny just seeing them not win the league for so long. But unfortunately, that very much looks like
it does.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they're I like Klopp. They're a pretty likeable side. They don't really have too many players that I dislike.
Yeah, that's also true, which is also annoying.
Yeah,
it's difficult. It's hard to find reasons to dislike them. So I'm just going by the reason I just dislike them.
Yeah, fine. You don't need to justify it. That's fine. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Speaking of which, actually, of disliking, that's one of the developments that's happened since we last spoke. Is Jose Mourinho taking over at Spurs?
Oh, at Spurs.
Yeah. Which for me is quite a nice kind of fit, because it's like Arsenal's rivals being managed by someone that I really dislike.
There was a worry he was going to manage Arsenal.
There
wasn't
was.
there? I remember speaking to you about that.
Yeah, there was, and I was not up for that. So I mean, I'm quite pleased he's there, because it sort of wraps it up quite nicely for me, that I can quite conveniently just carry on disliking him and treating Spurs, as Arsenal's sort of rival, but or sort of local rival. But I'm starting to get slightly concerned that he's actually doing okay there now. And they might.
Lost to United as well, and then obviously we then went and beat City away, which was fucking amazing. That was just so good to watch. Just that counter-attacking football of literally every time going forward, thinking we're going to score here. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, that seems to be the type of game that's suiting United best at the moment.
Oh yeah, of course.
Where the other team's coming onto them.
Yeah, of course. So that's what happened in the Liverpool game, and that was at home.
Yeah.
The problem is like playing like a team, I don't know, like Crystal Palace, who we lost to at home, or sort of Everton at the weekend. And then when they sit back, you think, fuck, what are we going to do now?
Because the majority of teams against United will still, be happy not to have the ball, sit back. So if you're best, but it still bodes well. I mean, if you've got sort of that way of playing against those teams, then if you can, that's almost like one part of the puzzle. If you can then solve a way of being better, sort of whilst dominating the ball, then it does bode well. I guess for United,
what's it called these days? Carabao.
I believe it's a energy drink.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I think Carabao's maybe energy drink that originates, I think, in Asia. I can't remember exactly where.
It's strange how that cup always takes the name of the sponsor, because, for example, the FA Cup I think it's the Littlewoods FA Cup. But no one ever calls it like the Littlewoods Cup.
No,
everyone will always say the FA Cup, but the League Cup, which I suppose is the real name, the League Cup, always gets called the Coca-Cola Cup, the Carling Cup.
Coca-Cola's the classic for me. I think that's,
same. That was our generation.
Exactly.
Coca-Cola Cup.
The Coca-Cola Cup. And it just kind of rolled off the tongue nicely.
Carling Cup also had both beginning with a C.
They
but
stuck around.
It's just been going downhill.
I feel like there's been... I feel like then between Carling and Carabao, there was one or two others.
There must have been.
I feel like there's been some bad ones. But Carabao Carabao's. I don't. It's certainly not done. I don't think a lot for the sales of Carabao in the UK. I don't know if it's helped in its sort of country of origin, but I haven't noticed many people walking around drinking a bottle of Carabao.
I didn't even know what it was, so
I think it's a drink. Yeah.
But I have just Googled this.
Okay.
And I can tell you one which I forgot was the Capital One Cup.
Ah, of course, yeah. Oh, and that's just like you get loans from Capital One, don't you? I think they were like a finance. I mean,
it's what you really want, is it? You're watching a football match.
Yeah.
And you think, well, I really want to get a loan, or maybe like an insurance policy.
Yeah. This company sound good.
I actually remember when we were living together once.
I know what you're going to say now.
In England, there's a programme called Soccer Saturday, which the 3:00 Saturday games are never on TV, and then you watch that, and it's quite a big show in England. Everyone just calls it, Soccer Saturday. And then Boom Boom was talking to me once and said, I was watching Gillette Soccer Saturday the other day. I was like, what the fuck are you using the name of the sponsor for?
I just thought they've paid to sponsor this programme. They deserve to have their name included when people are talking about it. Gillette Soccer Saturday. Yeah.
You used the right name. It's like the Barclays Premier League. Is it still Barclays?
Yeah, I think it is actually.
Which is a bank, a big bank in England.
Yeah.
So it's just classic. You're watching a Premier League match and just thinking, you know what? I think I might open a new bank account watching this.
Yeah. But no, I don't know why I did. I remember then when you sort of called me out on it. You said, "What? Why have you used the sponsor's name?" And I don't know why. But obviously the marketing has worked so effectively that I now just think of it in my head as Gillette Soccer Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Gillette is sort of famous all around the world.
I think it is. I think it is quite well known in different countries. Actually, I think.
I was going to say maybe you bought some Gillette razors, but considering the difficulty you have growing a beard, maybe.
I'm actually toying with the idea of growing a moustache over Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if I actually can, but I'm toying with the idea of trying at least.
And why exactly?
Just test it out. I've got like a couple of weeks where I'm not really going. I don't really have to see anyone other than my parents because I'm going to stay with them over Christmas. So I feel like it's a good opportunity to test some potentially terrible looking facial hair. But yeah, I'll send you an update. I'll send you a photo.
That's definitely what I want. Definitely an update on your facial hair sounds absolutely brilliant. I'm just trying to think of other things that we can talk about in Europe. Cristiano Ronaldo scored a good goal the other day, didn't he? That big jump.
The header.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he started at United, because he was a bit of like fancy, like doing a lot of step overs and stuff like this. And so you don't really associate that kind of player with being good in the air and good at actually heading the ball.
Mm.
But it was very clear that he was very good in the air because he had a good spring, he could jump really well, as obviously he still can, and scored many goals with his head. And until the final day when he was in England, you would always get commentators saying, because he's good in the air, you know. It's like, yeah, I fucking do know that. Everyone knows that. Yeah. It's one of his qualities. I know that.
Yeah, it's like they couldn't quite really fully accept that someone that's so good with their feet could also be good with their head. I think because like the traditional maybe English style of player, it's like you're either a tricky winger or you're a big target man up front. So they somehow, even though the evidence before their eyes told them Ronaldo could do both, they couldn't quite accept it.
Yeah.
They couldn't quite accept
For example, Big Duncan Ferguson was
very good with his head. Both in terms of heading balls and heading other people's heads.
Didn't matter to Big Dunk. He would do anything.
He'd be great with his head.
Something else, I suppose, which has just popped into my mind. I was just doing the thing of countries there, and I thought, well, that's obviously Italy. That's covered. That's an in-depth analysis of the Italian league.
Italian
Speaking about
Serie A done.
Goal, finished, done. That's Ronaldo, 1 goal. In Spain, there was that thing because Wales qualified for the Euros, didn't they?
Yes.
And Gareth Bale had that flag, that said Wales, Golf, Madrid
in that order. Yeah.
And he was there laughing, and I was just thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Are you really that stupid?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I think a fan had maybe handed him that.
Yeah, but
from
still,
the crowd.
just
but yeah,
just quickly, just sort of put it away and say, like, you know, I can't be doing that because I get paid by
I think
Madrid.
Yeah, it definitely seemed a strange decision. I think like there'd been maybe a headline or something of like 3 things that he puts in order. So like the flag was kind of like,
no, I think in Spain
exactly. They'd said it was like golf. It was and so this was kind of taking the piss out of that, but at the same time also kind of taking the piss out of Madrid. I just he seems to just not really care at this stage. He's like, I've won loads of Champions Leagues.
Who gives a fuck?
I don't really care, but...
which is a great attitude to have. Obviously. But yeah, he's only 30 as well, isn't he? So it's like his career's pretty much finished now.
Yeah, because he was quite close to moving to China as well in the summer, which.
I just, as I said, he's only 30. I was just thinking, I remember when I was younger saying, I specifically remember when Tevez moved to Juventus speaking to someone in Italy saying, well, he's 29 now. Like his career is over. But when you get to our age, 35, you're thinking, well, 30 is still young.
I'm actually,
I suppose in footballers' terms.
I'm on a WhatsApp group with quite a few Arsenal fans, and someone in the group messaged yesterday after Arteta was appointed, saying like, bloody hell, I've just realised that like some of us are older than him, as in older than Arteta. And I I thought I knew, but just to make sure, he just went onto Wikipedia to check how old he is, and luckily I am still a few years younger than Arteta.
Oh yeah, if you're older than the manager.
Exactly, older than the manager. I've only just got my head around being older than most of the players. I'm not ready to be older than the manager. I haven't accepted. I haven't accepted that I might still make it as a player, so I can't be older than the manager.
Exactly. I'm still waiting for the call.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping to make the Euros for England next summer.
You just need that right scout watching the right game. That's all you need, and it will happen.
I actually remember when it was 2006 and Theo Walcott got called up to the squad, and before that they were putting names out of who could possibly go to the World Cup, and his name was there, and I remember saying to my friend, I've got more chance of going to the World Cup than Theo Walcott, and I generally believe that was true. He beat me to it though. Good luck to him. He's not had his career, he could have done more. I think I could have done more than him.
If you were given that chance back in 2006, you think you could have?
I would be at Ronaldo's level now, without a doubt. We were talking about this age thing the other day, weren't we? About footballers that are our age that are retiring.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rooney's the one that I often think about in terms of age, because he's almost exactly 1 year younger than me. And then. Sometimes then I watch him moving around the pitch these days and I think, God, he looks old. And I have to remember I'm a year older than him.
There was, when Fernando Torres, he was born in the same year as us. But I at least thought, well, we were born after September. He was born before September, which means he was a different school year.
Yeah.
So it's totally different. It was like 3 months.
Yeah, because he's a year above. Year above in school. Yeah.
If we had gone to the same school, he would have been the year above. So probably when I'm his age, I'll be a footballer as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, he's just retired, is he? Was that the?
Yeah, he retired. Okay. I think it was about 3-4 months ago, because he was playing in China, I think.
But sort of going by his kind of timeline, it still gives you time to both make it and retire in the next
3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Get signed up and just retire.
Yeah, the one I always go by is Cristiano Ronaldo, because he is only. So I think he's February 85. I'm obviously November 84, so like 3 months.
Yeah.
And he's still, doing a pretty good job. So I'm still thinking, I'm still young. I'm still young. As long as he's still playing and scoring goals. And
he's in great shape.
Yeah.
And therefore, it sort of makes you feel like you're watching him. You sort of think, okay, if I'm around his kind of age, look at him. He's in great shape. This is fine.
Yeah.
That's where Rooney sort of has the opposite effect, I think. sort of balances it out slightly.
Yeah.
Hasn't taken quite such good care of himself.
Exactly. If you think their careers started both more or less at Manchester United, more or less the same age, Rooney actually being a year younger.
Yeah.
And Rooney was considered by far the better player at that age when they were like 18, 19.
Yeah.
Taken very, very different paths.
Ronaldo
mainly probably because Rooney's pre-match meal was fish and chips and like a pint of beer, while Cristiano Ronaldo, I would imagine, is eating something very different, and he actually doesn't drink alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he does all sorts to keep himself in shape, doesn't he? And actually, you reminded me. Actually, going back to that goal, I saw something on Twitter. It was a clip from Sky Sports News, and they were talking about that goal, and they were talking about how high he had jumped, and it was very high, obviously, but they compared it to a high jumper. And they were saying he's jumped higher than a high jumper here, and they had like the measurements. Yeah, but the key point they missed out was they were measuring Ronaldo from his head, so the top of his body. A high jumper has to get their entire body over. So the point of the high jumper's body they were measuring is like the stomach, as they curl over. So if you just said to the high jumper, just jump as high as you can, they could also go quite high. Ronaldo doesn't have to like clear a bar without touching it. He just has to head a ball.
I saw the same things actually, because I think it was 2 meters 86.
Yeah, something.
And I thought, fucking hell, because I was thinking, like, looking up, that's like and then I thought, well, no, that's obviously his head. He hasn't actually jumped like 3 meters from his foot.
Exactly. It's like. Yeah, it was like just over half a metre off the ground, I think. Then plus the length of his body, and that's how you get to 2 meters 85 or whatever it was. Yeah, so it's a bit deceptive, but it was bloody high. I think we can agree.
It was still high.
Yeah,
and he's the same age as us, Boom Boom.
So we can.
He was born in a different year because he was born in 85, but
right.
we would have been in the same school year, so therefore.
Would we? Okay, same school year as Ronaldo.
Same. So
right.
We are the same age.
Yeah,
same age.
Similar. Yeah. Same school year, similar kind of people, I think, to Ronaldo. We'd have probably been mates with him if he was in our school year, I imagine.
Best mates, yeah. Anyway, Boom Boom, it's been a pleasure, as always, talking about football.
Yep. Just let me know next time you fancy a chat, and I'll be back.
Will do. All right, mate. Speak to you
cool.
soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was me speaking to Boom Boom Cannon about football and lots of other things. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good Christmas and etc., that kind of thing. I will see you all again in the new year. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.